One last thought about how to keep students more engaged is the implementation of technology. So I've included two screenshots of different pages on my iPad. So let me get my pen here. Okay, so here is the first page. So I'll run you through some of the different apps I have here that I use regularly in the classroom or that my students use. So iMovie, it's a great way for them to show the content that they've learned or to role play. Keynote's again another really great presentation app. Google Drive, many of our colleagues have commented about the collaborative use of Google Drive, Google Slides, Quizlet, it's a vocab-based app. Google Docs, QR readers, when you can scan QR codes that will bring the students to different websites. That's a fun way to get them involved. Google Sheets, again, it's part of the suite of Google resources that they have. Dictionary, it's always good to have that accessible for the students. Notability is a really fun app to have students import their work. They can annotate on it. Google Classroom, again, we are a Google-based school, so all of our classes use Google Classroom, and that's how we push out materials because we try to be as paperless as possible. Explain Everything, there's actually two apps here. So moving on to the second screen that I have, that's what this app is. It's a great way for students to demonstrate what they have learned. They can talk through the process. Telegami is an avatar-based app. Students can record themselves talking and then they can play it back. They can design the avatar. This takes the onus off of them in terms of presentation skills. They can convey the information without physically having to be in front of the class. This is great in conjunction with mirroring. That way you can throw it up on the smartboard and then the entire class can revel in what that student has created. ThingLink is really great in that you can take pictures and you can have students annotate all over it. You can annotate over videos. So again, another way that students can demonstrate their information without any embarrassment in case they're trying to still walk through the language acquisition. Notebook, do I have that on the other one? Google Note, the Notebook's another great one. Socrative is a way that you can test students in terms of assessing like an exit ticket. You can ask a question, you can input the answer, and then students can respond, and you can see within seconds how well students have mastered the material that you've then communicated to them. Google Translate, this is very important for many of our students in order to get some of the material that is being offered to them in their classes. Scholastic Magazines, News ELA, is a nice way because you can change the level of the lexile level as well as the level of reading so that it could better fit the needs of the students. I've also, in this side here, given some more information like No Red Ink. It's an interactive grammar app. No, not app, it's actually web-based. So it's an interactive grammar program. You can assess, you can give them further exercises. My Word Book, it's an app that provides users with vocab packs and flashcards. That's a really great thing to use. Plicker's app, that's if you have an iPad and the students don't. This is a more low-tech level to do some assessment within the classroom. Storyboard that, it's a way for students to visually access the story that they want to create, so they demonstrate their own storyboard. Twitter, I encourage my students to follow different people's Twitter pages, Twitter accounts, our authors that we like, our sports heroes. This is a way for them to get engaged in modern day parlance as well as to get socially connected. Author pages on Amazon, again, for the authors that the students follow, they can read more information, they can post things, and then Goodreads is another great way for them to create just social groups based on literacy, and to reach out and to then find other authors that they may like. So I hope some of these come in handy for you along the way. Some ways that we can address the challenges of parents who feel disillusioned or disenfranchised by the American schooling system are in the various ways. We can really work to translate school notices into the languages spoken at home. community outreach. As a parent of students, of children who are also in my district, I often get frustrated that the PTA meetings are during the school day, because for me, somebody who wants to be involved, that simply does not work with my schedule. And we have parents who are working all the time, and just in order to have their children be in this district so that they can receive good education. I believe our community outreach events should be, that the times should fluctuate in order to hopefully get the broadest range of people that we can. At every school event, there could be translators or there could be translation devices so that parents can understand what's going on, so that they can feel as if they're a part of the conversation. There should be, I really believe in the idea that some school activities should also have a parental component. So if you are learning about, and like we did, the American Dream in Lorraine Hansberry's A Raisin in the Sun, go home, have the students go home and ask their own parents about the American Dream. Why did they come here? What is it that they were seeking? And then take those same stories and then compare them to the characters in the drama by Hansberry. Parent-child learning together, family literacy program. So Paraguay and Boyle discuss this in detail on page 193. You can have programs that train parents to read nursery books to their elementary school children. That way they're part of the process, and then through modeling, hopefully their children can get a sense of the power of reading. I think one big thing that I've come to realize is that family structures are not always traditional, nor do they really have to be. So understanding that parents may not always be in the same country. We have students who have two parents, however, one parent is back in China running the business or earning the money and sending the money back to the family here in America. Or we have children who are with grandparents and both parents are in the home country working and earning money. So also being very cautious about the term parents, because many of our children do not have, many of our ENL students are not with their parents. They're with other family members who are caring for them just as well as a parent would, but the family structure is untraditional for Western culture. In order to further engage parents, have community liaisons, help both parents and educators. So when there is a teacher-parent meeting, there should be somebody in the middle who's able to negotiate that middle ground, so that if there are issues that are coming up that are very Western in nature, that liaison can explain why they're important to the educators, to the parents. If there are issues at home that maybe us as educators don't understand, or we don't recognize, that there is a liaison who can help navigate that middle ground. And also educate parents about the U.S. schooling system. We have a lot of students who are very used to the Chinese way of school, where it's very high stakes, where where parents always need to know the ranking of the child in order to feel good about a test, or to see where that child is in terms of the entire class or even grade. And that's not how we work. So really trying to establish an understanding about how schools work in the United States, so that everybody is aware of expectations and how the flow of the schooling needs to go. Here are 3 great websites to help encourage parent involvement at school. The 2, as you may have recognized, are from Collar in Colorado. Some of the same resources we read for this course were from this website. The first website here, How to Reach Out to Parents of ELLs, goes through some really great suggestions. They talk about arranging home and community visits, welcoming parents into your school, so having parents come in for a tour of the school. So I know the day before we go back to school, the students come in to have a tour, have parents come in, they themselves can do a tour. Parents can act as volunteers. So this has some, this first one, so we'll label that number 1. Number 2, again, another caller in Colorado. 20 strategies. There's a Principal Iberl. He talks about breaking down walls in terms of bringing the parents in, talking about too how parents can be embarrassed, how they can feel as if they are, again, not part of the educational process. So finding ways to bring them in. So that has a nice video segment to it. That would be a really great tool, resource for educators to have. And then number 3, engaging ELL families, 20 strategies for school leaders. This really goes through. It has a very nice step-by-step tips on to how to bring parents into the fold and how to triangulate school, home, community, which is really, really great.